I hate crime. I'm a private detective and a Yank, so people expect me to live in nightclubs, leer at all the dames, and wisecrack my life away. I guess I don't let them down too much either. But I do have my serious moments. For instance, the night I felt in one of those lonely, poetic moods. You know how it is. You go way back, remembering all the nice things that have happened to you. The girl at school, the first day of fishing, the time you hit a home run with the bases loaded and won the game in the last innings. All that. It was a beautiful night in Hyde Park. The moon was so big and yellow that it didn't look real. You couldn't even hear the city traffic. Everything was so still and quiet. I hit the dirt. I saw the flash of a gun the second time, heard the bullet moan past. Then a guy was running towards Liverpool Street. I struggled to get the gun from my shoulder holster as I got up. Then I was running too, but I tripped and went down. By the time I got up again, the guy was 200 yards away, an impossible shot. But a blue coat was running down Liverpool Street.
Stop!
A car was pulling to the curb.
Stop!
It was the cop who stopped. 2 bullets. He crumpled. The other guy jumped into the car and it shot away. I didn't get the license number. The cop was dead. Later, of course, I was questioned about it. But I could tell the blue coats nothing. Somebody had tried to pop me, missed, and then had let the poor copper have it. That night, I slept with my gun under my pillow. In the morning, I went to the office. Larry Kent, Private Investigations.
Hello, Larry.
Hello. Who's this?
This is Howard Craven.
Well, you've all heard of Howard Craven. Radio actor, compere, quizmaster, and a good friend of mine. I asked him what was on his mind.
Well, Larry, you've heard about my rumpus room session.
Yeah.
Well, every now and again we have a guest star of the night, see? You know, an actor, a singer, a writer, or some outstanding personality of some kind or other.
Hey, don't tell me you want me to come along.
Well, I'd appreciate it.
Well, Howard, I'm not very good at that kind of thing.
Oh, Larry, look, all you have to do is stand at the microphone and answer some questions. Oh, incidentally, I want you to judge something for me, too.
Judge something?
Listen, I've got an idea. I've thought up a sort of a contest. Now, I'll get 3 young fellows in the studio and have them try to imitate you.
Imitate me?
Yes, you know, read a short narration. Well, how about it,
Well, okay. Anything for a pal.
Ah, thanks, Larry. Listen, be at the studio around about 5:15, will you? You know, it's on the 4th floor Savoy House.
I was there. 3 kids got in front of the mic and tried to imitate me.
All right, here we come. First up is, it's,
Wait a minute.
your name?
Ted Bolton of Lane Cove.
Sorry?
Ted Bolton of Lane
Ted
Cove.
Bolton of Lane Cove. Right, you heard Ken carry on there, Ted?
Yeah.
All right, would it help if Ken held the microphone and I retired?
Yeah.
It would, yes, righto. Larry, would you take over?
The winner sounded like this.
Your name first?
Jim McAllister Zetland.
Tell us, Jim.
You good people know me as Larry Kent, a private eye from the States who settled in Australia. And also know I like to watch the dames go by.
Steady.
In other words,
Yes.
you figure I'm a wolf.
Oh, no, I mean...
A guy who plays the field, but there was one dame I really fell for. Years before I came to Australia, but I was doing pretty good.
She sounds as if she upset you a little. You're in trouble here? Let's go from there, right.
One dame I was trying to forget, and I was doing a pretty good job of it, too. Till that afternoon, the afternoon size Williams of the Daily Sun called at my office.
Thank you. Number 3, read by...
Jim McAllister's Edwin.
Thank you, Jim. Ken, come on back here. You've heard 1, 2, and 3, Ken.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who do you think might be the best?
Well, that puts me in a spot, Howard. Supposing you put it to the gang in Rumpus Room, huh? And take
Put it to
on
the vote?
Yeah.
All right.
Let
Not a
them
bad
decide,
idea.
because I think they're all very good, and it's instead of me choosing one, let everybody choose.
All right, Ken, as you say. Ready, folks? You've all heard them all. On a round applause basis, as I nominate 1, 2, and 3, you accordingly applause. You're set? Right, number 1. Thank you. Number 2. Thank you. Number 3. The winner.
It won't win any Academy Awards for him, but coming on cold, it wasn't bad. In fact, it was good. I congratulated Jim McAllister, said thanks to everybody, and ran. I figured that was the end of that. But the next morning... Hello, Larry Kent speaking.
Mr. Kent, you were on the radio yesterday.
That's right.
There was a boy who called himself Jim McAllister.
Called himself?
Yes. It's not his real name.
How do you know?
Because he's my brother, Tom. And he's been missing for over 2 months.
Look, a lot of voices sound alike over the air.
No, it was Tom, I'm sure of it. Would you look into it for me? At your usual rates, of course.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Right away?
I'll contact you later. Got a phone?
No.
Can you come to my office?
I'd rather that you visited me.
All right. Address?
77 Willow Drive, Manly.
Name?
Julie. Julie Simpson.
Then the boy you're looking for is Tom Simpson.
Yes.
I said goodbye and hung up. Made a quick phone call and found out that Howard Craven was working in a city studio. Went there and told him about my call from Julie Simpson. He phoned the Rumpus Room studio, the girl there did some ringing, and called back. Howard took the information, then turned to me.
Jim McAllister was born in Sydney, Larry. He has a mother, father, a couple of brothers, and no sister.
Mm-hmm.
Your Miss Simpson was evidently mistaken.
I said thanks, got into my car, and drove out to Manly. I asked a few people there if they could tell me how to get to Willow Drive. They'd never heard of it. So I went to the courthouse. There was no Willow Drive in Manly, which meant that Miss Julie Simpson was either a crank or a practical joker. I chalked it up to experience and went back to the office, where I picked up my Esquire magazine and started reading. Then I heard a slight rustling. It came from a drawer of my desk. I listened for a while. Then I phoned a guy at La Perouse, told him I'd give him a few quid plus taxi fare both ways. He arrived about an hour later. A big guy with a dirty face and a baggy suit.
Where's the drawer that's giving out with the funny noises?
Just there, the top one.
Uh-huh.
He bent down, put his ear against the drawer, and listened for a minute or so.
I think you got in touch with the right man, Mr. Kent. Stand back.
I needed no coaxing. He took some cord from his pocket, tied one end to the knob of the drawer, strung it through my swivel chair, stepped back, and pulled.
Get back. I'll take care of it.
There'd been a snake about 12 inches long in the drawer. My friend swooped on it with a burlap sack.
Ah.
Did you get it?
Yeah, what a beauty. Yeah. I'll just put him in this bag. There.
What kind of a snake is it?
Harlequin.
Harlequin. Never heard of it.
It's a kind of coral snake.
Dangerous?
Saw a bloke bit by one in Queensland. 2 seconds after he was bit, he started falling. When he hit the ground, he was dead.
Huh.
You don't mind if I keep this, do you? I'd like to add it to my collection.
I gave it to him with my compliments. His name, incidentally, is Ted Rawlins. You can see him any fine weekend charming snakes at La Perouse. Well, I had dinner in town, took in a newsreel to get my mind off snakes, and got back to my apartment at about 8. There was somebody waiting for me. And she had somebody.
Mr. Kent,
That's right.
I'd like to talk to you.
Sure. Hey, that voice.
Yes, I phoned you this morning.
And gave me that fake address.
I'll talk inside.
Okay. After you, sweetheart. Did you give me a phony name, too?
My name is Annette.
Annette what?
Just Annette.
Okay, Annette. Why did you send me on that scavenger hunt?
To save your life.
How did you know it was in danger?
Never mind about that. The point is, I advise that you leave town immediately.
I don't like running away.
If you don't, you'll be killed.
By who?
By someone who won't rest until you're dead.
What's his name?
I've said enough.
Maybe I can talk you into saying more.
Don't come near me.
Oh. Is that loaded?
Open the door and step out of my way.
It, looks like you're the boss. Her eyes had been on me as I'd opened the door. But suddenly they switched, past the doorway. Her brows lifted. I turned. A guy had just reached the top of the landing. He was pulling something from his pocket. The shot was fired before I could reach my gun. But the guy on the landing hadn't fired. He folded up like a rusty jackknife, squealing, then he went all the way down. Thanks, Annette.
I told you that your life was in danger.
Why should I worry? Look at the protection I've got.
You won't be so lucky the next time.
Then there's more than just one guy?
I have nothing more to say.
The cops will be here in a minute. Maybe you'll tell them.
I have a license for this gun, Mr. Kent. I came here to see you as a prospective client. That man tried to kill you, so I shot him. I never saw him before.
It was her story, and she stuck to it. But there were some things she had to tell the cops, a few of which I wanted to know. When the boys in blue let her go home, I saw Inspector Daniels at headquarters.
Yes, Yank.
There are a few things I'd like to talk about.
Got the wind up, eh? Want some police protection.
Just information, sweetheart.
Such as?
The girl's full name and address.
Well, she made sure she gave that to me in private. I don't think she wanted you to know.
So, you're going to hold out on me, huh?
How many times have you held out on me?
Once or twice. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll swap information.
Swap?
Yeah. Her name and address for the full story, every word of it, things she hasn't told you.
Let's hear what you've got to say first.
I told him everything, including why Annette had come to my apartment.
She gave you a warning, eh?
Yeah, she knows that someone is gunning for me, and it's a safe bet she knows who it is.
Maybe I ought to have her picked up.
That won't do any good. She won't talk. She's too scared.
Do you think she'll talk for you?
Maybe. If I go to work on her the right way. We want to make sure we get the cop killer, don't we?
Yeah. All right, Kent. I'll play it your way.
Her full name was Annette Marshall. She had an apartment at Vaucluse. I went out there. Hi, Annette.
They gave you my address.
Yeah. It's, cold out here.
You can't stay.
For a couple of minutes I can if I have to ring that buzzer all night.
Come in.
Thanks.
What is it?
You know, you look wonderful. And she did. She was in something sheer and black and comfortable. Long honey blonde hair tumbling all over the place. Lips as inviting as an emergency landing strip when you had two engines out. There was a softness about her that made you want to baby her. Tell her it was all okay. But there was something else, too. Plain, ordinary fear.
Why did you have to come?
I want you to tell me who's gunning for me.
Mr. Kent, I went far out of my way for you. I could have just let you be killed.
And you saved my life. I won't forget that, but why did you bother about me?
Because I don't want to be involved in murder.
And yet you're too scared to mention any names.
Can't you see that? Haven't I taken enough of a chance?
You know, you'd feel a lot better if you had somebody with you.
The best thing you can do is to go away.
Why?
I've told you. He wants to kill you. He won't rest until he does kill you.
Who?
I can't tell you that. Please, go.
Uh-oh. Looks like I can't go.
Get into the other room. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Okay.
Just a moment.
Hello, Annette.
George.
Frank told me to come and see you.
Why?
Well, he sent Rocky after Kent tonight.
What happened, George?
Rocky was killed. Came over the radio about an hour ago.
Was it Kent?
Must have been.
I see.
That makes it 3 times we missed. First when Frank tried it in Hyde Park. Then when I left the snake in Kent's office.
Snake?
Coral snake fast. They can't trace it to you.
Why did Frank send you?
Well, he wants you to help, Annette.
Me?
He says he'll leave town and never bother you again, if you do.
What does he want, George?
All you have to do is bring Kent here tomorrow night.
How can I do that?
Go to his office. Play up to him. Get him to take you out tomorrow night. That shouldn't be hard for you, Annette.
Why doesn't Frank just leave the city? Why did he have to try to...
That's his business. I just do what he says. That's what he pays me for. Well, do I tell him it's okay?
Yes.
Good. Good. We'll see you tomorrow. Frank will be really happy.
I walked out of the other room. Annette fell into a chair. I waited for her to break the ice.
You heard all that, of course.
Yeah, you're supposed to decoy me here. Maybe you better talk, Annette. There's no way out.
No.
Who's George?
Just a paid killer who'd do anything for money.
Like Rocky?
Yes.
A good thing George didn't know you killed him. Or Frank. Who's he?
Frank Demarest.
Demarest?
He was sent to jail 2.5 years ago. On your evidence.
I remember.
He was released only last month.
And he's out to get me, huh?
He's insane. I don't think he knows what he's doing.
How do you know so much? Where do you come into it?
My real name is Demarest. He's my brother.
Oh.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do.
You've got a decision to make, Annette.
I'll turn myself over to the police. please.
No, you won't. You'll sit tight. I'll talk to the cops.
But what about tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, we're going dancing.
I'm scared, Larry.
But you know you did the right thing.
Yes. I didn't want you to be killed. That policeman, Larry, I didn't find out about that till the next day. Then I phoned you.
Because you knew George was coming to get me?
Yes. Frank came to my flat. I saw then that he was mad. He said he'd kill me if I talked. I was frightened. But I had to warn you.
I won't forget it.
You saw the police today?
Yeah.
You told them all about me, of course.
I told them just enough. What they don't know isn't going to hurt anybody.
What will they do, Larry?
Well, when Frank and George enter your building, they'll be waiting.
Frank will find it out.
Try to forget about it.
I wish I could. I wish we could be dancing under different circumstances.
We will be.
I'd like that.
I'll be around.
I'll hold you to that.
We'd arrived at the club at about 8:15. I knew how slowly the time was going for Annette. She kept glancing at her watch every couple of minutes. But finally it was midnight, then 10 after. The head waiter came over to our table, said there was a call for me. I took it in the nightclub office.
Kent, Daniels here.
Did you get them, Inspector?
Only one. They elected to fight it out.
Who got away?
Frank Demarest.
I didn't want to tell Annette, but I had to. When I did, outside in my car, she broke. I held on to her for a long while, and then when she'd pulled herself together, we went to her apartment where Daniels and some of his men were waiting. I pulled in at the curb just across the street. We started to walk across the street. I had Annette's arm. Then she pushed me.
Watch out, Larry!
A guy had come out of an alley a few houses down. He was pumping shots wildly, emptying his gun without a chance of hitting anything. Then he was walking towards me, holding his gun like a club.
No, Frank!
He didn't even hear her, just kept coming. Cops were spilling out of the apartment house, but they were too far away yet.
Frank!
I got up ready to fight it out with him. He was only 5 feet away, then he charged. One of the cops got him. It was all over. But it wasn't over for Annette. A few hours later, when the cops had gone, we were standing in her lounge room.
Oh, Larry.
He was no good, Annette.
I know. It's better this way. I
You've got to forget all this.
Larry.
Forget it, baby.
Larry.
Come on, forget it.
Will you help me?
She was looking up at me, her eyes wide open. Then they closed just as mine did. And she was hanging on tight. Did I help her forget? I think so. But I'll never forget. Once you've held onto a girl like her, that's all you can remember. Good night.